Hello again. Welcome to part 2 of the soft skills discussion. The humanitarian environment is a very complex one. Nothing is constant, and there is a lot of unpredictability. Staff work under very challenging circumstances. They face a lot of risks daily. They encounter threats to their lives. There's a lot of exposure to suffering and pain in communities. But in the midst of all this, they perform their work to the best of their ability. Being part of a functional, cohesive team is important. However, having a good team is dependent on team members' soft skills. Today we look at 6 soft skills in the humanitarian and development context. If the COVID-19 pandemic has taught organizations anything, it is that supply chain management is an essential function. Supply chain is service-oriented. It enables other functions in the organization to achieve their goals. Its role is crucial and contributes to overall performance and organizational effectiveness. To external stakeholders, the supply chain staff are the face of the organization, and to internal stakeholders, they are enablers. Having good relationships with both stakeholders is absolutely essential. Soft skills enables a workplace culture that resonates human values, improves individual performance, enables organizational effectiveness, and improves output. To achieve functional goals, organizations hire qualified and technically competent individuals. However, based on extensive studies, soft skills are equally important, and the lack of these skills contributes to a big percentage of job losses and poor employee performance. Remember, organizations are made up of individuals. These are the second most valuable assets in an organization. And in looking at soft skills, we look at these individuals' personal attributes and how they interact with people. Excellent soft skills are the foundation of good relationships. One's ability to communicate effectively, work in a team, be a good team leader, be good at problem solving, decision making, conflict resolution, critical thinker, that is just to name a few of the essential soft skills, gives the employee a better chance of being considered a good employee. Look briefly at your own setting. Are you employed, self-employed, or an employer? What motivates you to go to work? The salary, passion for the job, career enhancement, the working environment, the team, or a supportive supervisor? And what makes you not want to go to work? Poor working conditions, nasty supervisor, poor teamwork, demotivating work environment? There are no two people who are the same. Different people, different personalities. How do they manage to work together and agree even when they have differing opinions? Let us explore. Soft skills in supply chain operations, part 2. Welcome to part 2 of the presentation. In part 1, we did an introduction to soft skills, selected 12 for discussion, and gave a brief explanation on each. Today we will delve a little more on the 12 soft skills and apply them to specific circumstances as they occur in a humanitarian and development context. Soft skills refer to an individual's personal attributes. These are skills invaluable to program and business success. Organizations are made up of people who lead, manage, and run operations. Each individual's personality or character affects their job performance in one way or another. This could be in a positive or negative way. We know for a fact that human resource is every organization's most valuable asset. How well we invest in this asset determines how well our organizations perform. In part 1 of this discussion, we highlighted the fact that there are very many soft skills. For purposes of our presentations, we identified 12 skills that we would like to discuss in depth in relation to supply chain in emergencies and development. Today we will look at the first 6 soft skills: conflict resolution, teamwork, decision making, communication, interpersonal skills, and collaboration. Conflict resolution skills. Conflicts may arise from a dispute, breakdown in communication, disagreement, or difference in opinion. It could be a conflict between 2 warring factions, 2 people, or within a group. Conflicts also occur in a workplace. They are a common occurrence, and therefore it is important that staff at all levels develop this skill. Let us look at a specific scenario. Procurement officer receives an urgent request from the health project manager. Procurement officer prepares an electronic purchase order in the system and sends it to finance. The finance officer receives it. However, sorry, there is nothing I can do. We don't have a budget. 24 hours later, the order is still on hold. 48 hours later, the order is still pending in the system. The procurement officer decides to go to the finance officer and discuss it. Please, you have to release the order. It's an emergency request. Sorry, we still don't have a budget for it. The finance manager chooses not to intervene. This is ridiculous. The procurement officer is furious. There is tension building up between procurement and finance. On the other hand, the health project manager is also angry with the procurement unit on the delay. All parties involved have limited conflict resolution skills. Collaboration, the ability and willingness to work with someone or others and recognizing other people's contribution to finding a solution. Let us revisit scenario 1. Could closer collaboration have made a difference? The procurement officer receives an urgent request from the health project manager. Procurement prepares an electronic purchase order in the system and sends to finance. Finance officer receives it. Sorry, there is nothing I can do. We don't have a budget. Procurement makes a suggestion. Is it possible to identify the savings generated to date on that particular budget line and request for permission to reallocate the savings? That is a good idea. Finance manager approves. The electronic purchase order is funded, committed, and is ready to be released. The support to the health clinic was provided in 1 day, and all because there was dialogue, collaboration, and willingness to work together. Decision making, picking a course of action or making a choice between 2 or more options to address a problem or handle a difficult situation. It is a process, but we are sometimes forced to take spontaneous decisions depending on the circumstances. Such decisions are based on previous experience, knowledge, quick consultation with a third party, or a key stakeholder who is directly involved. The dry season is fast approaching, and there's an indication that it may turn into one of the worst droughts the country has faced in decades. There is an urgent need to complete boreholes for the communities, but the water pumps with steel rods are out of stock for at least 8 months, and the project ends in 5 months. The project runs the risk of losing its funding. A decision has to be made really quick whether to settle for the alternative pumps, which have aluminium rods, or wait for 8 months for the steel rods. The technical team will have to provide a very good rationale to support the recommendation they make. We stated earlier that decision making is a process. Now, a common approach to decision making could be as follows. Identify the problem, which in this case is the shortage of steel rods for the water pumps. Technical team reviews, understands, and analyzes the circumstances. Review the different options. Consider the impact of each option. Select one of the options. Consult. Make a decision and implement. Monitor and assess the impact of the decision taken. Review the impact. Interpersonal skills. These skills are often referred to as people skills. These are the skills we use to establish relationships, in communication, and to interact with other people or colleagues. They enable us to relate well with others in order to achieve a common goal or objective. How we treat people will either make them want to work with us or not. In emergencies or disasters where economies are devastated, intervening organizations normally negotiate importation waivers for relief commodities. Employees involved in the discussions can influence the outcomes. An employee who is rude and arrogant would not be ideal for such roles. Communication is the act of applying these forms of communication to exchange, impart, share, and transfer information or knowledge. It can be verbal, non-verbal, visual, or written. Effective communication is very critical in supply chain. Miscommunication can disrupt programs and cause the organization to lose millions of dollars. The health project manager orders 3,000 doses of amoxil. There is an existing frame agreement for purchase of pharmaceuticals, so the order is placed immediately. The supplier has a no-return policy for pharmaceuticals. The procurement officer orders 3,000 doses of 250 mg. They are delivered to the head office's central warehouse and redistributed to clinics around the country. However, the health clinics are concerned because they needed adult doses of 500 mg. Due to the no-return policy, the office is stuck with the drugs and has to find additional funding to purchase the right dosage. Information is only useful if it is understood enough to be used for its intended purpose. Information must be clear, concise, accurate, and verifiable. Last but not least is teamwork. Teamwork is all about team members cooperating and working together in harmony to achieve common goals. Each wheel plays a role in the machine's ability to work as required. Same as a team. Each team member has a role to play in order for the organization to succeed. As a leader, how you relate with your staff or treat them will either build a strong team or a dysfunctional one. Interpersonal skills are an important consideration in team building. Team members must be able to work together and complement each other in order to achieve the common goals and improve organizational performance. Poor performance is an outcome of a dysfunctional team. XYZ supply chain function comprises of the following employees: Sparrow, the supply chain manager; Peter, procurement; Ahmed, warehouse; Ikosi, transport and distribution; Ian, logistics; and Samantha, logistics. All staff report to the supply chain manager. As the dry season approaches and there is an indication that it will be the worst drought in decades, XYZ activates its preparedness plan for the communities. One of the key decisions is to manufacture and produce supplementary feeding products for children and lactating mothers. The distribution will commence in 4 weeks for a period of 6 months. A request is approved and procurement process initiated. Four weeks later, the products are ready, but the trucks available are not sufficient. XYZ does not have sufficient storage. Some of the products may expire before the last distributions are done. What went wrong? The supply chain manager did not call for a planning meeting at the beginning to initiate and discuss collaboration for a seamless integration of activities across the units. He did not discuss or develop with the team a process for the flow of information or documents. Team members are working in silos. There is no sign of information sharing, collaboration, or consultation. This has resulted in an unreliable commodity pipeline, all because of poor teamwork. In part 3, we will look at the remaining 6 soft skills in a humanitarian and development context. Thank you for joining us. Look out for part 3.